14th, 2021. Spent some more time on the truck today. Things go kind of slow when you have to sandblast. I'm going to spin around. Sandblasting, cleaning, but I did get the brake shoes cleaned up and painted. This has a coating on it to protect it, but it was rusted just enough, so a lot of the coating was missing. So I just sandblasted where the rust was. I mean, you can see a spot here, and a spot over here. There's millions of little spots. Took them apart, sandblasted, everything was rusty, and then I just give them a coat of paint real quick. But as you can see, the pads are in really good shape. There's a good fat 5/16 of pad left there. I don't believe there's a lot more than that when they're new. I mean, we're nowhere near the rivets. So those are staying. Cleaned all the pins up. Got those never seized, and they're ready to hang back on here. I did get the brake backing plate on, the shoe mount bracket, which is that triangular looking piece. The tie rod on this end goes on the bottom bolts to hold kind of everything together, so that had to go on. But so this side is ready to hang the brake shoes. The reason I haven't hung the brake shoes is I don't have the brake return spring that'll hold them from just hanging down to the floor. So I'll probably leave those off until I get the springs. I've got the other side to finish up. I got the plate cleaned up and painted, and I've got the shoes to get cleaned up. They're right there. That needs to be cleaned up and painted. I think I may put the wheel cylinder on this side today. And that might be about it for today. I don't know. It depends on how late I feel like working. But anyway, progress update. I ran out of Rust-Oleum rubberized undercoating that works really good. I like it. This is what it looks like when you're done. It makes a really good primer. You can paint it. It is paintable. That's what I did back here. Only this was done about 3 years ago. Undercoated and then painted. The inside was undercoated at the same time, but it did not get painted, and you can see the gloss difference. But anyway, I've got this last little bit on both sides on the outside to clean up and get it undercoated. And I've got to get some undercoating. I'm going to have my wife pick up some tomorrow. She's got to go she's doing an order for Walmart today, and I'm going to put an order in for they have that undercoating. I'm going to have her pick some of that up, so I should be able to finish that up tomorrow. I did get the rest of the frame done. The only thing that needs to be done is the front, back, and bottom of the axle right there. That needs to be cleaned up and painted, but we can get to that. I'll probably get the back of it and get a lot of that before I do this side and get that tie rod mounted in the way, because it's just this end's just laying on the floor. That'll get done later. But anyway, all right, folks, have a good day. Okay, well, here we are, January 15th, 2021. A little more progress today. We got this brake assembly together. We're waiting on the brake return springs. Those are the only things we need, and these brakes in the front will be complete. I did get the tie rod and the front axle cleaned up and painted. Oh, and I did get the rest of the undercoating, so I did get the rest of the frame on both sides and underneath undercoated. So we got that done. Let's see. Oh, got the brake lines hooked up. So as far as brakes, the only thing we're waiting on is a few parts that didn't come with the original rebuild kit. They're sending them to me, so I need to take this back off. This is just on here so I can mock up vacuum lines, which is what that is, brake lines, which you can see there's 2 of them. I want to be able to get them all fitted up. The brake lines are all completed for the whole vehicle from back to front. The vacuum lines are all completed. You can see the 2 red hoses that go to the 2-speed rear end. That's a vacuum actuated. And then there's a vacuum line that goes to this, which is basically your power brake booster. Got that all hooked up. They both come up to right here, and then they go up to the firewall and use engine vacuum. But anyway, so your brake system right now is hooked to the brake pedal, goes to the master cylinder. That sends pressure through a brake line here in the frame, comes out here and over across down into a valve system here, which actuates the vacuum activated diaphragm in here. It's not a diaphragm, it's a piston. and that sucks that piston forward. And when it does, it pushes a rod on a piston inside this tube, which in turn sends the brake fluid through these lines out to all 4 wheel cylinders. There was a seal, a new piston seal in here that didn't come with the original kit. Come on, focus. Inside this, keeps wanting to focus on my hand. Inside this tube, and I'm waiting on that. And the only thing I'm worried about is the integrity of that tube. It's got a little bit of pitting in it. I'm going to have to see if it works or not. If it doesn't, I'm just going to bypass, hook these 2 lines together and bypass this right now. It just means I'll have manual brakes, no vacuum brakes. This needs a hose on it right here to go to an air filter. That basically is just fresh air intake. So when this piston moves forward, air can go out of there, and when this piston moves back, air can move into this area in front of it. That's all that's for. But it needs to be filtered. You don't want dirty air going in there. But anyway, waiting on some parts on that, and once I get that rebuilt and that all back together, then I can actually get some brake fluid in these lines and test these brakes and make sure they're all good. Oh, and I did get the front hubs cleaned up today. I don't have my big sandblaster. I need to get that in the garage here because the fuel line's leak and I need to get that repaired. The alternator doesn't stop working. I need to get that in here and work on that too, but I don't have a big one, so these are all wire wheel. But you can see I've got some hand brushing to do in a couple places here too to get these cleaned up. But I'll get finished up with them, get them painted, and check the wheel bearings. I want to get numbers off the wheel bearings because I'm probably going to put them back on with the bearings that are in it. But I want to make sure I get numbers and stuff so I can see if I can get them. If I can readily get the bearings, I may just wind up putting new ones in. But anyway, that's progress to date. Okay, what we did here is I've got to have some adapters from 1/2 inch aluminum tubing to 1/4 inch pipe threads. And I don't have fittings that will do that. I could go to the store and get some, but with COVID, I'm a homebody anyway, and with COVID I don't go out unless I absolutely have to, just because, and to each their own, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. But I've got some materials here that I can make the fittings I need, and I've got the equipment, so that's what I'm going to do. So what I've done here, oh, I lost it, here we go. What that hyperlapse was is basically taking a piece of, I had a piece of 3/4 inch cold rolled steel, and I thought that'll work. I had to turn it down to 1/2 inch OD, cut 3/8 inch pipe threads on it to fit in. What it's for is a 2-speed rear end, and the lines were completely shot on this truck, and the switch that switches it from high or low range is vacuum operated. I need to run vacuum lines to it, and the fittings were compression fittings, and I don't have any 1/2 inch compression fittings that reduce down to 3/8 pipe thread or that fit in the other end of the fitting. But anyway, I had to make my own adapter, so that's what I'm doing. This is the same OD as the 1/2 inch tube, so I'll just put a piece of vacuum hose. I just happen to have some here. I'll just put a piece of that over it and clamp it. It'll be fine. There's 2 or 3 spots on there where it has to have that, so it can move with the axle, and yet the tubing can stay rigid with the frame. So anyway, that's what we were doing, making this adapter. I'll dress this end up, I'll put it back in the lathe, and I'll put a chamfer on each side here just to make this end a little nicer. But right now I've just got to continue and make 2 more. I've got to cut the threads on the end of this, and then I'll drill it out, cut it off, and then do 1 more. So I didn't want to bore you with that 2 more times, but anyway, that's what we're doing here. Short video progress today. Not going to look like a lot, but it was pretty time consuming. I had to make some fittings. Those are right here. 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there for these hoses. And then of course I had to make these tubes. I bent all this tubing. It comes up around here, and then it goes down along the frame all the way back to the rear axle, to the 2-speed X. Of course I did all these brake lines the other day, got those all in place. Master cylinders just mocked up in place. The hydrovac is just mocked up in place. I put it in place so I could get the brake lines run. That needs to come off and get rebuilt. I have the kit for it. It's probably going to be the next project. And the other thing I got done is I got all this frame on the inside cleaned up, scraped off, wire brushed, and undercoated today. Alright, well, I'm going to take a little break here and go do my chores before it gets pitch black out. As you can see, it's starting to get there, but it's January 5th and it's 4:30, 4:40. So I'll take it, because anytime it's daylight after 4 o'clock, it's looking good. But anyway, I'll take you along with me. What the heck? You gotta take everything water tonight. Hang on, let me get my water pail and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got our pail of water. We don't have a lot of chores to do. You can hear the spoiled little brats out here yelling, whining. There's the goat house. And there's the goats. I'll show you all of them here in a minute. They're on their way inside because they know I'm coming. And they know they're going to get some grain. Alright, let me set you up here. I don't know how good you're going to do, but it's only going to be temporary. Not very good. I don't know where I can put you. Well, that's better than nothing. I gotta get down. I'm gonna dump the water. Give them some fresh here. Get in there. You'll be fine. Trust me, you're not going to starve to death in the next 10 minutes. Hauled my wrenches with me, and that was a mistake. Alright, let me set you down here and I'll fill our water, and then I'll introduce you to them. Okay, this is Hermione. She's a pygmy goat. Yes, you are. This is Luna. She's a pygmy goat. They're both moms. Hermione had nothing but boys, so they all found new homes. This is Lily, which is Luna's baby this spring. She's a little girl. She's part pygmy, part Nigerian dwarf. So we'll see how big she gets. She should get about the same size as her mother. Hermione's up here and wants her head scratched. But they're all pretty good goats. They're not hard to take care for. That's the one good thing about them. That little warming pail keeps their water from freezing. And actually, I don't know why I spent all the time building this barn. They're never in it. They sleep, believe it or not, they sleep out in the open half, and I'll show you what that is. But I'm going to give them some hay. Work my way around here. And then I'll give them their grain, because that's what they're whining about. They think they need their grain. We have one scoop that holds about a cup and a half between the three of them twice a day. Once in the morning, once at night, and that's all the grain they get. The rest is all hay. That's all. I'll take the rest of my water over to the chickens. I gotta go drop this hay off out here in their outside pen, because here's this is where they spend all their time. Of course, I don't know why I put that dog loo in there, just for another place for them to get in under cover, but they're in that. Lily sleeps in that all night. And the reason I know this is I've got a camera, and I moved it from outside to inside, and they're never on the camera at night. But anyway, I'll back off and show you a little bit about what this is. It's not very big. It's just, that's my design, my goat barn. It's actually 8 by 16. It's 8 by 8 enclosed, 8 by 8 covered, and then it's the hay mow. Gives me room to store just about 30 bales of hay, which is about 5 more than I need. But anyway, works great. And here's a chicken pen, same thing, 8 by 16, 8 by 8 enclosed, 8 by 8 open. This is the crooked house. This was a design that my wife wanted. Wanted to know if I could do it and make it crooked. And I said I can try it. She showed me a picture of an old fallen down chicken house. But anyway, that's it. When we got all said and done, that's what it looked like. So, got to feed them, gather the eggs, and we'll go from there. These guys just get, they've got food in their trough, so they just get some cracked corn for scratching. Anyway, sorry about that delay. What we got for eggs? Probably 3 or 4 would be my guess would be. I put hay in these nesting boxes, and they don't leave it in there. They boot it right out. Well, let's see. None up there. We got 2 here, and 1 down there in the corner. Little pukes. Anyway, all right. I gotta go back and get my water pail and bring it in here and top their water off. So that's it. We'll talk to you later. Not a lot of progress today because the package that was supposed to be here today, which contains, and I'm going to flip around, the brake return springs for the brake shoes in these drums. The package that was scheduled to be delivered today did not make it. So I put the drums on. They're not on permanently. They're just on there. I cleaned them up, got the bearings cleaned up, and got them on. They're not on permanently. Obviously, I have to take them back off to put the brake springs on. So I'm not going to adjust the brakes or any of that. I'm supposed to be getting a package Monday of parts. I'm supposed to be getting a package Tuesday of parts, and the package I'm waiting for that hydrovac right there, I don't know when that's going to show up. So I'm hoping in the next couple of days, because that's the one that I'm waiting for the main piston seal. And I can rebuild that. Once I get that rebuilt, now that the front brakes are on, I can charge the system with brake fluid and start adjusting brakes once I get those return springs for the front. But even without those, I can charge them with brake fluid. Get fluid in the lines, I just can't. I can let gravity bleed, but I really can't pressure bleed because I don't want to push the brake shoes apart and have the drums not come off. They will, but it's just a little harder. Anyway, progress for today. Drums on, front drums on. Takes a while because I pulled the bearings out, pulled the seals out, got everything all cleaned up, nice and clean. The caps are over here on the stove drying. The 2 little gray things here. I'll quit the zooming. These 2 caps, matter of fact, they're probably dry now. They're just primed, and I got to make 2 gaskets for them. The next big items are the bell housing, which is here on the floor, and the transmission, which is over here. This needs to get cleaned up, primed and painted too. And then I'd like to that sits right there. I got to take that, or I want to take that and pull a drain pan, take a look at it, see what it looks like, drain the oil, put some good oil in it. I got to check and see if I can put synthetic in there. You got to be careful with your synthetic oils on these older vehicles. Most cases it's not a big deal, but every once in a great while your synthetics can affect things. If memory serves me, synthetic is not really good for leather seals, but I could be wrong, but I think if I remember correct. But anyway, you just got to be careful before you start dumping synthetic in just any old thing. You want to make sure it's not going to impact any of your seals or do more damage than it would good. This vehicle is not going to see 100,000 miles a year. You'd be lucky if it sees 100 miles a year. So synthetic and normal oil is not going to make a difference at all. So that's the way we're going to go with that. I think that's it, really. Parts cleaning today is pretty much it. I didn't get the parts I was waiting for. I went ahead and did the drums anyway. I've already explained that. That's, I think, it for today, folks. We'll see you on the next one.